Have you ever wanted to make your own iPhone battery? I know I have, and thankfully today I get to show you how that's done.
Lithium batteries are absolutely everywhere. They're in smartphones, laptops, DSLRs, drones, you name it. It's an endless list of products. And most of those batteries use cells that are made in massive factories like this one we visited in Weizhou, China that produces almost 13 million battery cells a month. A battery cell is the energy storage component inside a battery. It's where chemical energy is converted into electrical power. They may look simple on the outside, but they're made from dozens of ultra-thin layers assembled to microscopic tolerances. Producing them requires highly specialized manufacturing equipment and strict quality control, because even the smallest flaw can impact performance, longevity, or safety. The result is a compact device capable of storing and delivering remarkable amounts of energy. Once the lithium polymer cells are manufactured, they still have to go through several more stages before they can power something like an iPhone.
Lithium polymer cells are kind of special. You can't just directly apply electricity to them to charge them up. They need a little board like this one called a BMS. It's a battery management system. The job of this BMS is to keep the battery safe. It can't overcharge or over discharge, but how you program these is kind of fun. You have a row of these BMSs stuck together, placed in a relatively crude looking machine that has 3 contact pins per board. We bring this down, the machine starts writing the software to the BMS, and once it's done writing, we lift it up. Now what were blank chips on this BMS board are programmed with the correct software to keep the battery safe. During this step, we're taking the blank cell and we're attaching a combination of the BMS board and the cable that was attached to it to the battery cell. And this machine is going to help me do that. The next step is to fold the BMS to make it a little bit more compact. But to do that, I need to make sure that the contacts here don't touch the BMS. That is a short circuit risk. We do that by using some Kapton tape. Apply it to the edge, fold the board down twice to compact it. I need to remove this layer of protective film on both sides. With the BMS safely folded, I need to make sure that it doesn't accidentally unwind. I'm going to use this machine here, place the sticker down, fold that sticker back on itself, and now that BMS is not going anywhere. Now that we have a complete battery, it's time for some quality control. This machine is going to run several tests for us, including impedance, capacity, and overcurrent tests. Once the test is complete, we either get a pass or a fail. This one is a pass. The first step of the quality control test tells us that this battery is safe to use. So the next step in the quality control process is to read the data off the battery management system. And we're going to use this device to do just that. By connecting the battery, I can see I have 54% charge, a state of health that is just over 100% or 101%. We've got a temperature reading, battery design capacity, and a max battery capacity. This is essentially what a new battery will look like. And of course, who could forget the wonderful adhesive strips that are such a pain in the ass to remove. Putting them on is much easier though. And just like that, I made my first iPhone battery. Let's pop it in and see if it works.
It's easy to take a battery for granted, but a surprising amount of engineering goes into every one of them before they ever reach a device. What looks like a simple pouch of chemicals is actually the result of an incredibly complex manufacturing process involving precision engineering, software, and rigorous testing. And after seeing how much work goes into making one, it's hard not to appreciate the tiny battery powering your phone just a little bit more.